Somebody's child is in the hospital as a result of reckless gun violence in our city, and we have to make sure that there's accountability for that.
Tonight on DC News, now at 5, 2 separate shootings sent 3 teenagers to the hospital. We'll have a live report on how parents are voicing their concerns. And new COVID boosters are on the way, how the new formula could be a step towards yearly shots. And later, more documents released, a live report on pages that outline former President Donald Trump's attempt to allegedly conceal classified information at his Mar-a-Lago estate.
And we're live here in your local Ford Weather Center, tracking some beautiful conditions as we head into the evening. And it looks like this beautiful weather is going to stick around for a little while, but will it last into your Labor Day weekend? We'll let you know in just a bit.
Thank you, Damon, and thank you for joining us for DC News at 5. I'm Mark Hall. DC police are investigating 2 separate shootings today that sent 3 teens to the hospital. The first just outside a charter school in Northeast, and police say it happened just before 10 a.m. in front of Idea Public Charter School. The school was put on lockdown for several hours. 2 teens are now recovering in the hospital, and a person is in police custody. That's where we find our Daniel Hamburg. Daniel, you talked with parents who are startled by the news of the shooting.
Well, certainly, Mark, parents were scared for their kids' safety. A lot of them came here to try to pick them up early. The good news, nobody inside was hurt. The shooting happened just outside the school, and police quickly arrested the shooter.
It startled me, it scared me to death when I heard Idea Academy School, and I grabbed my heart like that. Oh, Lord.
Janice Williams' niece was one of many students inside Idea Public Charter School, put on lockdown after a shooting outside.
She wasn't actually scared, she just agitated because of the lockdown. When young people hear the word lockdown, they don't know how long they're going to be locked down for.
Police Chief Robert Conti says a student got to school late this morning not wearing a proper uniform and didn't want one given to him. 15 minutes later, 2 more students came, refusing to go through the metal detector. All 3 left school, and Conti says got in a fight outside, a dispute that may have started the day before.
It's very tragic that we're seeing firearms in the hands of young people who should not have them, and as a result of that, we have 2 young people suffering from gunshot wounds.
Conti says one of the 2 students who refused to be searched used a handgun and shot the other 2 teens, one in the stomach, the other in the arm. Police were able to arrest the 15-year-old shooter near the scene.
15 years of age who decides that, the best way to resolve a dispute is to pull a gun and shoot somebody in front of a school, that's unacceptable, and I don't care how old you are, you have to be held accountable.
News of the shooting sent parents rushing to school.
I had to leave my job and rushed up here to see what's going on with my daughter because I don't trust these streets or what's going on out in the streets. It's sad that it's happening like this. It's not good.
Williams thinks more needs to be done to prevent these issues, but is happy her niece is safe.
I think the security guard handled that very well. Very well. He did what he was supposed to do. Nothing got inside the school.
Now, there was also a shooting in the 4700 block of Alabama Avenue Southeast this morning. Chief Conti says in that situation, a dispute started in the building. This is just about a block and a half away from the building. Those kids went outside. A teen was shot there, taken to the hospital, expected to be okay. And Chief Conti says they don't have any suspect in custody, but they are making good progress. We're live in Northeast D.C. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
Daniel, thank you. Well, of course, this shooting has restarted a debate about whether schools should have armed officers in them. Let's bring in DC News Now's Leonard and Fleming, who has looked into this debate. And Leonard, there certainly has been controversy over the changes of the so-called resource officers in D.C. public charter schools.
Yes, good afternoon, Mark. Yes, there have been. In an 8-5 vote last May, the D.C. City Council voted to phase out these officers from 60 this year to 0 in 2025. So there's deep division over the issue. And the issue is, do they help create peace and forge relationships in these schools, or do they create a police state? And that's really been kind of the rub. Let's hear Chief Conti comment on this issue earlier today.
I think incidents like this really underscores the importance of having our school resource officers who are able to really interact with young people in the schools, understand when we have disputes that happen. And as oftentimes you've heard me say that situations that oftentimes start in community will bleed over into the schools.
Well, that's interesting, Leonard, because, you know, we have seen SROs work in other cities. You know, they do have a tendency to build a rapport and trust among students, and they act as a deterrent.
No question about it.
Do you see a change of heart?
Well, you know, look, Council Chairman Phil Mendelson, he believes that this program works. And he's talked about how there's a fundamental misunderstanding of their role in schools. And he'd like to see this program continue because of what we saw today in regards to the shooting. So if there are lasting relationships with these officers who work in different schools, they're not just in one school like they were back in our day. If they're in different schools, perhaps maybe it could work. So we'll have to see if this debate is revived with these recent shootings.
Yeah, Leonard, we'll have to see how it plays out. Thank you so very much. Well, Fairfax County Police are warning of a potential serial abductor. DC News Now's Katie Reed has more.
This is the second abduction attempt in less than a week here in Reston, and it happens just over a mile from where the first abduction attempt was on Friday.
It happened twice, so yeah, definitely I'm a little worried.
Fairfax County Police say a man tried to grab a teenager who was walking on the sidewalk around the 1800 block of Old Reston Avenue. The teenager was able to break free and run away from the suspect.
The man is described as a Hispanic man, approximately 5'11", with an athletic build. He was wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and black shorts in the incident from last night. We do believe he is connected to our incidents from the last few weeks, yes. And we're actually even going back to previous cases to determine if any of those incidents are related as well.
And people walking around here are understandably concerned.
Now I'm definitely looking around, back and forth and everything, of course, yes.
Awesome.
I'm more aware of my walking instead of just in my own world.
Now, community members living here in the area are asked to check their home security systems for anything that's out of the ordinary. And if you do know anything about these two attempted abductions, you're asked to call the police. For now in Reston, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
Big thanks to Katie. Meteorologist Damon Madsen joins us with a check on the forecast. And Damon, what a difference a day makes. Severe weather concerns 24 hours ago. Right now, it's very nice outside.
Yeah, exactly, Mark. Things are certainly looking up as we move ahead here throughout much of the day today. And after all, we are starting to slowly get that much cooler air locked in place as we are going into the rest of this evening. So again, that is certainly helpful. And there's a look at those temperatures that we reached earlier this afternoon. Not bad. We were in the low to mid 80s with those high temps across much of western central Maryland, down into northern Virginia, the DC metro, and we even still had high temperatures only in the upper 70s in Winchester, back into parts of West Virginia. So talk about just an absolutely beautiful day. It's cooled off a little bit for some of us, even as we go into the evening now. Still in the 80s, though, for a good portion of the area. We'll really start to see those temperatures decline off here over the evening hours. And the other big change, look at how much more comfortable it is. Not a lot of green on the dew point map here as we got rid of that humidity with that cold front passing off to our east. So as we move forward through the rest of this evening, just expect a good bit of sunshine for the next couple of hours. And then as that sun goes down, we will see temperatures steadily drop off through the 70s, with many of us likely to have low temperatures well into the low and middle 60s, the type of night you can really keep those windows open. It's going to feel like fresh air out there. And on top of that, it is going to remain very clear, very calm as that Canadian high pressure center that's giving us this beautiful weather really starts to settle into place. And it looks like it's not going much of anywhere for the next few days. We'll wrap up August, roll into the month of September with this same comfortable setup. But Labor Day weekend, it's right around the corner, the unofficial end to the summer. Folks likely having some plans locked in place. Will the weather cooperate for those plans, or are we talking about the chance for some rainfall moving back into the picture? We'll have a check on that for you coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin rallied with parents in Fairfax County this afternoon, drawing applause while discussing a number of topics that helped him reach the governor's mansion. Well, Northern Virginia reporter Max Marcella joins us live from Mason District Park, where the rally has wrapped up. Max, you got a chance to ask about a couple of school controversies in the area. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's right. We got a chance to ask first about the incident at Glasgow Middle School in Fairfax, and then about a debate over school resource officers in Alexandria. Now, you just heard a lot of that debate happening in the district. Right now in Alexandria, they are allowing and having school resource officers in the buildings through the end of 2023. But then after that, their fate is sort of uncertain. We also got a chance to ask Governor Youngkin about a topic that he previously discussed a lot about in Loudoun County, which is school safety. The topic that brought this up was, of course, the middle school counselor at Glasgow Middle School in Fairfax County, who kept his job even after he was arrested and then convicted of soliciting a minor. So here's what Governor Youngkin said about some of the legislative fixes and the prospects that there could be some in this upcoming General Assembly.
I am very, very encouraged by the fact that I do not believe this will be a partisan issue at all. And I think we will have a real meeting of the minds about how to address this topic.
All right, so that was just one of a number of topics we discussed with the governor. We also got a chance to talk to Attorney General Jason Miyares about the Alexandria School Resource Officers issue, because he and Mayor Justin Wilson have traded letters to one another. So coming up on your DC News Now at 9, we'll break it all down, give you the latest on the school resource officers, the student safety in Fairfax County, and a little tease ahead to Governor Youngkin's answer when asked if he's running in 2024. He did not explicitly say no. Reporting live from Annandale, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
Max, thank you. New today, new COVID boosters could be available as soon as Labor Day. The FDA just approved this first round of updated shots, which have a formula specifically for the infectious Omicron variant. Until now, all the vaccines have targeted the original virus strain. This looks to be like the first step towards yearly boosters, similar to the flu shot system. Well, students of Bester Elementary were evacuated after a small fire broke out yesterday morning. DC News Now's Skylar Salas covers Hagerstown for us and has all the details. Good evening, Skylar.
Good evening, Mark. So at exactly 11 o'clock Tuesday morning, students and staff were evacuated from Bester Elementary. Now, I do want to reiterate that all the students and staff were able to make it out the building safely and with no injuries. And as the fire investigators continue to assess the situation, they did find that the fire was deliberately set. Now, according to the Hagerstown Fire Department,
of course, as a parent, I'm concerned because now, is this something that I need to worry about? Is there someone that's going to continue to enter the school and put my children in harm's way?
Now, the fire marshal has identified a suspect and tells us that arson charges will soon be filed and students will be able to return back to school on Thursday morning. Reporting live in Hagerstown, Maryland, Skylar Salas with DC News Now.
Skylar, thank you. The DOJ releases new documents, 36 pages, outlining former President Donald Trump's attempt to conceal classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate. And officials say that it was done to obstruct a government investigation. Now, in the filing, a picture shows documents labeled as top secret, secret, and sensitive information scattered on the floor. Lawyers representing the former president gave no explanation on why boxes of government records were in his home for nearly 2 years after the end of the former president's administration. Well, the FBI recovered an envelope that contained 38 unique classified documents. 5 of them were marked confidential. This is in addition to the 15 boxes that contained 184 documents that were recovered in January. Well, the filing was released to oppose a request from President Trump's team to have a special master review documents removed earlier this month from his estate. A U.S. district judge will hear arguments on Thursday.